Hello everyone. In this video, I'll really quickly demonstrate how you can create a bar chart using SPSS. Bar charts are simply the sort of visualization type that are used to present categorical data with bars, and each of the bars for those categories actually represent the length that are proportional to the values of that category. I know that definition is taken from the textbook. It could be a little bit scary and ambiguous, so I would like to walk this definition here on SPSS. I have a data set of 4 different variables: gender, profession, income in thousands, and experience years. Um, just something really quick. If you see each time when you're dealing with big data sets, and each time you look at a value name with underscores, because or with anything that does not make sense in its own, uh, you can always go to variable view or design view and look at the label names. And these are these names are actually the labels that will be produced as the output of analysis in SPSS. In this case, income underscore thousands is income in thousands, and then years experience is years of experience. So to create bar chart, we need, as I said at the beginning, it's a type of visualization that's used for categorical data, but even categorical data have some sort of measurement to it. So let's look at the gender here. As you can see, these are categories, but the measurement aspect of these categories is their frequency, is how many times they occur. So if you only have one univariate variable or one variable, and you would like to create a bar chart, then you're looking at each bar of your bar chart, of that bar of your chart, depending on how many categories are in it, actually represent the count of each of those of these categories. And let me explain how that works. So to create charts, any type of chart, you will use the graphs toolbar, a legacy dialog, and use the type of any type of graph or bar you would like to create. Or you can also use chart builder. So I would simply go to bar. There are 3 types of bar charts. I would start with simple, because we are looking at one category, and then click on make sure you have the summaries of groups of cases. I'll explain the others as well. Click on define, and once you're on this page, as you can see, gender is the one that we would like to present. So click on gender, and then click on this button, and it will bring it on the categories of axes, and then click on OK. And as I said, it does not. It only gives you the count, as the y-axis here depicts the count of each of these categories. How many females students or interns, and how many male students and interns. It's 6, and then it's 9 for males. So that was one of the ways to create a bar chart for a univariate category. Second way is to actually have 2 categories, one for the category and the other one for the measurement level of those categories. So for instance, we are looking at, instead of looking at the frequency of each of the males and females from the gender variable, let's say we would like to know what are the income of each of these values in gender variable. But here's the point. In Tableau, it's called aggregation, and in SPSS, it's called, because Tableau is also a very advanced visualization tool. So each one of these tools have their own acronyms and terminologies. So in SPSS, it's called measurement or summaries. So in order to be able to use this feature, you have to have a scale value, a numerical value. And then you have to activate one of these, because you can't just bring a number of these values here. You have to aggregate these values in terms of measurements. What do you want? A sum, an average, a mean, standard deviation, variance? What sort of measurement would you like to draw from them? So you click on other statistics, and first bring the income in thousands here, and then click on change statistics, and it gives you a series of statistics that you would like to use. In our case, let's say we would like to use the mean of values or the average. We could also use the sum of them. Let's use the mean of values. So click on continue, and then click on OK. There you go. So as you can see, now we have two categories. While here we have the counts, but here we have two categories with the mean of income for each of these categories. As you can see, the mean, the average, mean is the statistical word for average. The average of female income is 30, and the average for male category is somewhere around 25 maybe. So that was one of the ways to do that. You can also, again, do for, you can also, let's say, measure for, let's say, for sum, like, or minimum or maximum. So if you want to do sum, which is the summation of income for each of these categories, and click on OK. And there you go. So overall, the male students and interns get around 225, and female get around 100, maybe 80 or 85. So another type of bar chart. There's a variety of bar charts. Is cluster chart, and cluster chart is self-explain. It's a cluster of multiple variables within one category. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So as I already have the information here, I think I was practicing earlier for the video, so I must have brought them here. So the first one is, let's say we would like to run, we would like to cluster them by gender, and then we would like to have the categories by their profession, and then again this is the variable for the measurement, and then click on other statistics, and then bring this numerical value here, variable here, click on change statistics, and yeah, get the average of the values. So what it does is it gives you a cluster of two different variables measured by their values. So interns and females, as you can see, actually that we have two categories within each category. So one category for interns, where within this one category we have the cluster of male and female. The second category, which is the teachers, and we have the cluster of female and male. And this is an easy way when you have multiple variables and you would like to look at the measurement, or look at the categorical measurements of those variables, while they're clustered side by side. And so this is a very easy way to see if the interns, if there's any difference between the interns, male and female interns. As you can see, female interns actually are paid higher than male interns, although there's not much difference between the income of the male and female teachers. So that was the cluster bar chart for you, and the other one is the stacked bar chart. And the stacked bar chart is pretty much the same way as the clustered bar chart, except that it has the categories, instead of having them side by side, it has them stuck one on top of the other. So the variables are already here. The measurement will be the mean or the average. I don't put the titles or any sort of subtitles or footnotes just to save time for the video. So click on OK, and there you go. You have the stack bar chart. So as you can see, each of these categories, male and female, actually have subcategories stacked, one on the top of the other. So interns within female and male categories, and teachers within male and female categories. So that was the stacked bar chart. The bar charts also have other sort of data applicability. We use the summaries for group cases for all three of these types of bar charts. Separate variables is when you're looking at multiple variables using one category. In this case, let's say we would like to look at both of these measurements of income in thousand and experience using the category of gender. So again, you can always change the statistics or measurement type using that button, and it should allow you to either to select one of these statistical measurements. In our case, we just go with the mean or the average of the values, and then click on OK. As you can see, we have two bars, and each bar contains two categories for each of the variables. So that was for for bar charts using summaries of separate variables, and then individual cases. This one does not have a lot of applicability. I've never used it. It's pretty much when you would like to produce a bar chart using each individual cases. So if you have hundreds of records or cases, then you would create a bar for each one of those cases. In our case, let's say the gender, the two variables will or the two variables will go onto the bar that they represent, and then we can use the variable gender here. And again, because because it represents each of the values as individual cases, we won't need to do any aggregation or aggregated measurement or any statistical measurement on them, because we are getting each case separately. So each one of these records, each one of these rows. So there are two categories options here: case number and variable. So I would go with the variable, so it can give us the variable name for each of these for each of these two categories, and click on OK. As I said, with this, each of those records now have a bar chart. And so, for example, the first record is male, so years of experience, and then income in thousands. And lastly, let me show you how you can do all of that using the chart builder. Again, this is not something standard to write the notes for. Even I, as someone who's been using SPSS for almost 10 years now, every time I have to use the chart builder, I have to give myself a few minutes to work around the options that I may have forgotten. So again, these are just choose from this. These are the list of graphs that are available, and then these are the types of visualizations under the graph. So bar, this is the simple bar chart, this is a cluster bar chart, stack bar chart, and these are 3Ds. These are new features available within SPSS, so it's good if you would like to have advanced 3D visualization of your bar chart. So simply just drag the graphic, whichever type you use, select, drag it onto the canvas, and once it's there, put the gender on put the category on the x-axis. X-axis is always for the categories of the bars, and the y is the measurement. So let's say income in thousands will come to the y, and then right after you do that, this statistics page becomes activated because it allows you to select a measurement. As I said, a level of measurement, a statistical measurement that you'd like to use for the aggregation of each of these values. So again, you can play around if you want to change the bar styles, you want to change it to beam or whiskers, or if you want to add, let's say, footnotes or titles, or if you want to change basic elements of the chart, or even like I said, change the measurement properties. You can customize the chart the way you want before producing it by clicking OK. So I'll go ahead and create this chart, and there you go. Now we have the chart, and these are each of the values within the y-axis, and this is the x-axis with the categories. This can also be changed. Again, you can double click on it, and it allows you to go to the chart editor, where you can play around to change the labels and axes, and change the measures of the type of measurement and the scale of y-axis, in case you want each of these bars to go in increments of, let's say, 10. Right now it's 2, or let's say 20. You can change all of that, but you can play around with the chart editor as well. There are other options where you can use in here for the x and y axis reference lines, etc. So I'll just close out of the chart editor. I think that's pretty much it for how to create a bar chart using SPSS. I hope that this video was helpful. Thank you. Until next time.